So in today's video, I want to talk about starting new things and how we often come up against resistance when we're starting things that are kind of challenging, I guess. I'm seeing people come into 2026 wanting to lock in. So I thought I'd share two of the most important things that I've learned when starting new things. This being one of them, by the way, like talking to camera, building online, sharing my lived experiences, and more importantly, choosing wisely. So without further ado, I'm going to go to number one. My number one thing that has helped me like sort of take the plunge and kind of pull the trigger and start new things is starting small. I think we kind of like underestimate how powerful it can be, I guess, because like if you kind of build up these small habits and take action, and over a period of time, like you'll get better at that thing. And I think a lot of the time we kind of like think about the outcome before we've even started, and this can kind of trip us up, right? Because like we don't see results quick enough when we start. You know, we're gonna be like not very good at that thing for a period of time, and I think it's good that we acknowledge that first before we sort of pull the trigger, so to speak. So yeah, start small. So I can kind of liken this to a few things. I think the main things that spring to mind are kind of like, I guess, like experiences that I've had, which I guess that's all I can really talk about, right, and give value on is what I've actually experienced in my life. And it's like learning guitar. You know, you're gonna be like not very good at the start. It's just the way it goes. So you have to like build in a practice routine, do a little bit every day. Over time, you're gonna be better, aren't you? You're gonna be good. You know, and even if that's 15 minutes a day, all of these things you're gonna improve. You're gonna make improvements. I'm also on a weight loss journey as well, and I've really been struggling with that. And I think it's mainly because of accountability. But again, this is another thing. You don't see results for a while. You don't instantly shed the weight. You've got to build the habits in order to get the results. And over time, you'd have lost weight and you would have got better at, the guitar or whatever it is that you're learning. So a good thing as well with that, before I move on, is to document your journey. So, record yourself playing guitar when you're practicing, be it daily, weekly. And on your weight loss journey, like, I think you've got to track stuff. That's what I'm learning, is like you're tracking stuff. So track your weight, do some progress pictures so you can actually see the small things. Because like other people will notice these things, by the way, like over time, especially like, obviously if you don't see someone for like 3 months or 6 months, they're going to see it. But on that whole journey, you're probably not going to have recognized it as much or noticed it as much. So that's really key. But anyway, with starting small, what can that mean? So it can be a few things, right? You could have a new business and you want to get clear on what that business is. It might be getting clear on target audience. It might be designing a logo. It might be applying for funding. It might be looking at partnerships, right? So it might be like people that are like further along in business than you and that you can learn from and get more exposure from. Could be a bunch of these things, like creatively, what could it look like? So I use myself as an example. So it could be songwriting. It could be like, I don't know, I want to start free writing, object writing, doing my morning pages, getting in those habits, writing more, bringing your creativity to the forefront of your mind. So a lot of time it gets buried in the noise. You can also set perimeters, right? So you can be like, I'm going to write a song with these 4 chords and these 4 chords only. And this way it kind of just gives you a clear goal as well. So you're not, again, distracted from other choices and things that you think that might be available to you or that are available to you, but they will just kind of like take you off piste a little bit, right? So I think that's starting small. And also it's worth noting that when you start small and you start taking action, you start getting more confident because you're doing what you say you're going to do. All those things that you write down and plan, those are becoming things. You're getting the wheels in motion. And that is absolutely key because it'll just give you momentum and your thoughts are becoming things, right? It's becoming something finally, which is amazing because unfortunately the opposite happens if you don't take action, right? You get more nervous, you get more anxious, you kind of get less confident because you're not doing what you're saying you're going to do. And you kind of build it up to be bigger than something that it probably is as well. So I think it's really key to do that, The second thing which has probably been the most important. Okay, so I thought I'd leave the best till last. Number 2 is start with what you've got. I think we live in a world where, we're sold something every day. You go on your social media and you're scrolling and someone's saying this, that, and the other. 10K a month, you could do this, you could do that, AI and blah, 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 drop shipping, and it's really confusing. And I think also, if you're like me, the algorithm is probably feeding you that stuff as well. So yeah, really key to start with what you got. So what do I mean by that? So what skills do you possess? So this is your learned skills, your natural skills, your kind of unfair advantage. So, your super strength, like what you consider to possess that, no one else really does, something that makes you unique. What things can you not stop thinking about? What do you think about before you go to bed? What's the first thing you think about when you wake up? All these things are like your biggest guiding light. And sometimes I didn't know the answer to a lot of these questions. They seem like maybe simple questions. I didn't know the answers. I just asked people. So don't be afraid to ask people. Like ask someone, like a family member, a close friend, maybe someone you don't know that well, and just think about like, who can you ask? Like, because sometimes we don't know those kind of natural skills we have, or like the kind of super strengths, we often don't see them in ourselves because they usually are obviously natural to us, right? And that we don't find them difficult, but other people do. So it is a real like valuable asset and skill to have. So yeah, ask people, don't be afraid. Just be literally like, I think I just said, look, I'm on this self-development journey. I'm trying to learn a bit more about myself and like what skills I have, and what could those things be? So it could be like, what are your learned skills? What are your natural skills? What 3 things do you think about when you think of me, kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, what are the first things that come to mind? And basically, like, yeah, just go with that. Don't overcomplicate it. It can just be like, 5 questions. And those answers will sort of take you there. And what you'll find is that you'll probably have a lot of the same answers. There'll be a common thread in, the answers that you get. It's really, really important and really, really helpful. It's helped me a lot to kind of just cut through the noise and see what things that you might be missing, and also getting distracted. Because this will also make you realize that there are less options than you think, right? Like, because we often get that choice paralysis when we've got all these options out there. This kind of helps us go, actually, there's probably only 3 things, right? I kind of did it with like graphic design. And what else did I do? I was doing like Illustrator, I think Photoshop and a few other things. And I was like, I'm literally starting from sub-zero because I'm not artistic in that way. So it would be like a life journey to get like average at it. But also, if I was absolutely loving it, then obviously fair cop, like give it a go. But follow the energy that you get from doing something that is so key. So yeah, ask people, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask people. Most people will probably be really supportive of you wanting to, have a better life for yourself and do something that's more aligned to you and true to you. Starting with what you got, starting with what you've got could also look like, what equipment you have. So that was obviously something what you got like internally, but this is more like, what equipment do you have? Like, what can you start doing today? Like, do you want to do video stuff? Have you got the right camera, or is a phone camera like the one I have good enough? Music wise, or apps on your devices. Do you have, music software? Do you have editing software for like photo, video? What are the things that you have? Because there'll be a guiding light as well. The one thing actually, to go back on the skills thing, the learnt skills will actually, I think, be a real driving force, because like, if you've taken time to get good at something and actively learn, so it'd be a learnt skill, it must mean that you're passionate about it in some way, or there must be something about it. So if you go in that path, even if it's not particularly that thing, like I started doing a bit of teaching, which has kind of led me into wanting to do a bit of coaching, and kind of like helping to empower people and start a community. Those are kind of the things that are really drawing me forwards. But it wasn't the teaching is what I'm saying, but it kind of put me on the right path. So yeah, so I just wanted to throw in that example as well, because it just came to me. But yeah, this is my first video. I'm not sure what the light's like because it's super bright, but I kind of like this angle. I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, like I'm gonna do a bunch of videos like this. So like I kind of like talking about this stuff, and I find that a lot of people struggle with this stuff, and I'm feeling like I'm starting to see the light a little bit with these kind of few things that I've learned, you know, because I've watched countless podcasts and read countless bloody self-help books and, you know, had lots of deep and meaningful conversations, had a coach myself as well, which has been really great to have that focused time. But those two things that I've mentioned in this video are just like, they've been a real game changer because it just keeps it simple. You don't want to overcomplicate things. But the most important thing is that you start, and start now, honestly, because this time is passing regardless. So you might as well do it doing something that you truly want and you truly love. So yeah, I would love to know what you guys are doing. Like, what are you starting? What are you kind of having trouble with? Bang it in the comments. I'd love to know. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers wisely.